We introduced you a few weeks ago to an Australian soldier who, out of frustration, decided to burn his service medals from Afghanistan, and he did so because of that lack of action that seemed to be happening about bringing all of the people who've helped Australian soldiers in Afghanistan, the people who've kept, of course, so many people safe, the interpreters and the security people at our embassy. He burnt those medals. Another bloke called Pete Evans, who's a veteran as well, burnt his medals, and both of them were presented today to the Federal Parliament. Here was a local Labor MP who received them.
Australians don't leave our mates behind. Australian soldiers were not trained to do that. Pete Evans felt so strongly about this issue, he burnt his medals in front of me and asked for them to be presented to the Prime Minister in the Australian Parliament. Likewise, Stuart McCarthy asked me to. Prime Minister, you know the significance of these medals.
Heston Russell is the man we like to talk to about veterans issues. Of course, voiceoftheveteran.org.au is the way to find them. Heston, nice to talk to you again, mate. Again, sorry it's on circumstances like this. Now, every time I talked about this on telly, some relevant people quickly get in touch with me and say, no, lots is happening behind the scenes, lots happening behind the scenes. That was a couple of weeks ago. No doubt the same would be being said to you. Do you think that they're doing enough? And the truth is now that with us out of Afghanistan and the Taliban, frankly, taking over everywhere, our window's almost closed here, right?
Yeah, g'day, Paul. Good to chat with you again. And absolutely, there is a bit going on behind the scenes. I'm in contact with a number of defence members who keep me updated that some of their interpreters have managed to fly back into Australia, particularly into Western Australia. The issue is, Paul, that we're just not hearing this communication unless we're getting, these very emotional actions like medals being burned and presented. Where is this sort of government keeping our people informed on these highly emotive situations? But taking it back a step, mate, this has been going on for 7 years. Some of these interpreters have literally had visa applications in for 7 years, and we're now sort of rushing to this point. And one key question I want to ask is, are we going to see the Prime Minister, are we going to see the Chief of Defence Force step up now to issue an apology to those Afghans who worked alongside us and haven't been brought home, to the Afghan government as it now collapses, just like we saw them step up in that Burton report release and offer an apology to the Afghan people and the Afghan government on behalf of Australia.
Now, we hear from Peter Dutton when we've talked about it at the Defence Minister, and I don't imagine I know he's not not a pen pusher, he's a man of action, right? That he said that his concern has always been just to double check that somebody who might have done something good 10 years ago might have somehow waned and had gone to the wrong side of things 10 years since. I know that's a virtually impossible process for them to go through, but is it your sense that there is an expediting of things, or you think they've basically got as many as they can? Because as you're right, we're not getting a daily or weekly update about this.
Yeah, it's a hard one. It's a hard one. I have friends who are working on the inside and have worked on the screening of these individuals. And the key point to note is, indeed, these people had to go through a very rigorous screening process to work alongside us. I mean, we're also talking about the Afghan national who provided security at the embassy, the Australian embassy in Kabul. And indeed, there is an updated screening process to be provided, but it's not sort of black and white. There are ways and means we can at least get them out of that location. We can conduct our foreign policy engagement to get them to somewhere in between. We can take them to the Christmas Island processing. We can at least get them out of the place where they're looking to be immediately hunted down by the Taliban to perhaps conduct our due diligence. Surely we have at least that obligation to provide some form of a benefit of the doubt, whilst also not bringing them directly into Australia if we do have those fears. But, there's this moral obligation and moral authority and responsibility that even Prime Minister John Howard speaks of, and we just need to see it in practice.
What about the Veterans Royal Commission? I know, again, you're across all of that. We don't hear a lot of it in the headlines at the moment. We know who's been picked. We know where the terms of services, terms of reference are. My apologies. What's your sense about how that process is starting to play out? And again, I know COVID sort of slows everything, but what's your sense of how that's playing out?
Yeah, it's been very interesting, Paul. We've changed Voice of the Veteran, stepped it up to becoming an organisation, Veteran Support Force, to provide this proactive support and also engage with the Royal Commission. And I personally and us organisationally have been very frustrated. It is truly independent, so Nick Caldos is stepping up his team, but it's over 2 months now, and we're still awaiting to see when it's going to start, when interviews are going to happen. They haven't even fully finalised the legal support that's going along with it and communicated these things. So a lot of veterans campaigned for this for many years, and we've heard the announcement and the terms of reference, and now it's a bit of a loiter pattern for a bit of hurry up and wait at the moment. So, look, mate, we are pushing, and I'm engaging, speaking with some of the key secretaries and assistant secretaries of that new formation. But unfortunately, I literally have no further information than you probably do if you could just do a quick Google yourself.
Yeah, correct. Now, Veteran Support Force is a special activation group as well that you've got up on Facebook for people to join, become members, become aware of. Heston, as always, strength your arm, mate. Thank you for your work.
Brilliant. Thank you, Paul. Appreciate it.
He's a rock star, isn't he?